Who in the hell would submit to a strip search and sign a consent form for a strip search going into a prison or jail? You're going to be surprised, many of you. Some of you won't be surprised, but many of you will not believe who will sign those forms coming into the jails and prisons and consent to a strip search. Hi, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories, and I'm going to give you 2 of my personal documented cases of guilty people submitting and signing a consent form to a strip search. Thank you for watching True Prison Stories. Please subscribe if you like this video. My first case that I'm going to talk about was at Hillsborough Correctional Institution, State Prison in Florida. Now, at that time, it was, at the time of this investigation, the prison had formerly held adult inmates, and now it was converted over to juveniles adjudicated as adults. And we had information that a mother was bringing in pills for her son, some controlled pills for her son, because he liked to use these pills to get high. But of course he was telling his mother that he needed them badly to make it through prison. He couldn't get through prison without them. So we had been watching for a while, and we picked the day that she was coming to visit to be a good day that she would probably have those pills on her person as she came into the prison. So we had a K-9 sheriff's unit on standby, and I was on the inside, and I had a female lieutenant and female sergeant with me, and we're ready. And here comes Mom to visit, and I meet her at the front entrance of visitation, take her into the side administrative office where the warden's office is, and spoke with her. This was on a weekend day, of course, and I told her that we had suspicions that she was bringing drugs into the prison for her son, and these are the allegations. Oh no, not me, I would never do that. Well, would you sign a consent form to a strip search so that we can ensure that you don't have anything on you today and you're not bringing your son anything? Well, absolutely. Now, folks, here's what happens with these guilty people, these guilty visitors, bringing in contraband and still signing a consent form to a search. She had sewn a secret compartment into her bra where the pills were. And she thought that we were not smart enough or good enough to conduct a thorough search to find these pills. You would be surprised at how many visitors across the country that are carrying contraband, concealed either on them or inside them, will sign a consent form to a strip search. Why? Because they think we are not smart enough to find their super duper smart hiding places. Well, I'd already talked to the lieutenant and the sergeant and very good officers, and told them I'm search everything, check everything, and check that bra, because we had a good informant. Yeah, not that we are that smart. We had a good informant who told us the bra. Anyway, they searched her, and lo and behold, here comes the officers out with the suspect, the bra, and the pills. And she had sewn on the inseam of the bra. I mean, you would never notice it if you didn't know or have a heads up. So let that be a learning lesson for us today, folks that are ladies that are searching, female officers that are searching female visitors. Search every little inch of their underclothing, because they will sew secret compartments in their bras. And don't let them boo you up or buffalo you or try to scare you that you can't search me. Hey, you signed the consent form for us to search you, and we're searching, and we're going to do a thorough search. Now, if you don't want to sign the consent form, don't. You're going to leave, and we may take you off the visitation list, or we may just restrict you from that one visit. We're going to do an incident report. We're going to turn it in, and the prison management will review everything and determine your future visitation rights. Okay? So, who will sign a consent form? Well, people carrying contraband will sign a consent form to a strip search. I'm going to give you another case. That was mother to son case, okay? Hardy Correctional Institution, girlfriend to boyfriend. I had been listening to some phone calls, and we had certain words programmed into the phone system that if they pop up, it tells us what inmate was using those code words. And we had an inmate and his girlfriend talking about his birthday this Saturday. Don't forget to bring my balloons. He mentioned balloons like 3 or 4 times, and we all know that balloons are not allowed in the prison. We're not going to let the visitor bring that in. So I had a female prison inspector with me, and we had a Hardy County Sheriff Canine Unit on standby. Oh, by the way, you're probably wondering, why do you have the Canine Sheriff Unit standing by with you? Well, what's going to happen is, if they don't consent to a search, that's fine. We're not going to search them. We're going to let them go, and they're going to go home. But we can and we are allowed to run the canine through the parking lot. We are not allowed to tell the canine officer her vehicle's in the second row, number 5. You cannot do that. You just say, can you search rows 2 and 3? Now, her vehicle is in one of those rows. And that way, if the canine hits on the vehicle, we have another opportunity for a search. Now, that's the way it is in Florida. Now, I know under our Florida statutes, there's a big sign at the beginning that says, anytime you enter state property, you are subject to search and seizure of your articles, your person, etc. But we still want to do everything in our power to do these things right. Now, she comes in. I give her the same speech, that we think she might be having contraband with her today. Oh, no, absolutely not. 2 children are with her. 3 and 5, somewhere in that area, young children. And she has these balloons hidden inside her vagina, in her body cavity. And she is probably thinking, okay, they'll never find them there. And she signs the form. I am willing to have a strip search done before I'm allowed to go in and visit. Signed it, no pressure. And what gets me is a lot of people think that they're pressured into signing these forms. Nobody's pressuring these people to sign these forms. They're asked to sign the form. They think they're smarter than us. They're guilty. They're smuggling drugs, but they think that their hiding place is so great that we're never going to find it. And she signed to the strip search. So now we have a female inspector colleague of mine with me, and we have a female lieutenant from the prison. They take her back, and let me tell you, when you have 30 balloons, little round balloons with marijuana inside your body cavity, of course they're not going to do a medical examination, but when you have to squat and cough, it's very hard to hold those 30 balloons in there. And anyway, long story short, the balloons were discovered. The female inspector, female lieutenant, and the suspect came out. They had them in a bowl, and yes, it was a sight to behold for me to see that. But it was evidence, and it had to be taken in. Of course, it was sent to the laboratory later, just as the pills were in the first story, to the FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement Laboratory. They all came back for narcotics on the pills, and illegal narcotics, and non-prescription pills without a prescription, etc., and the marijuana tested positive. But and they were all sentenced for a felony. Her children were picked up by the grandmother. She begged me to please let the grandmother pick the children up, and I did. If not, the state would have taken the children. So I'd rather see the children go to a grandmother than to the state. No offense, state. Anyway, so my bottom line to telling you about these 2 stories, there's so many more than these 2. I had more than that. I'm not the only prison inspector in the state of Florida who's had that happen. And we have correctional officers too that are working visitation that say, well, you didn't pass going through the metal detector. It keeps ringing something. We've taken everything off we can. Now we have to have you consent to a strip search. And they sign it, and then they find drugs. I mean, my God, how dumb can you be? Number 1, you're dumb for bringing contraband into prison. Number 2, nobody twisted your arm. You signed the consent form to a strip search. So don't go crying later when it's time for trial or court. Oh, they forced me to strip search. They forced me. It was forced. They coerced me. They forced me. You know, come on. You're bringing contraband into a prison. You sign the consent form. You get busted, and now you're going to cry wolf. Sorry. Shouldn't have been bringing it in to begin with. You are now guilty of introduction of contraband into a prison. It's time for you to go to court. Maybe now you can ask your visitors to bring something in and we'll catch them also. Well, I think I got my point across. Folks, guilty people with contraband will sign consent forms to strip search. I've seen it done. My colleagues have seen it done. There's documented cases across the country. I'm sure Florida's not the only one that's had this happen. Thanks for watching True Prison Stories.